Thank you so much for your interest in sixth grade math at Extend Homeschool Tutorial. My name is Kym Kent, and in addition to serving as the director, along with Nicole Green of Extend, I also serve as the sixth grade math instructor. So this video is designed to answer, hopefully, most of your questions, if not all of your questions that you might have about the sixth grade math class. So let's get right on into it, okay? So the prerequisite for this class really is just successfully completing fifth grade math. We use Horizon 6 in this class, student workbooks 1 and 2. Student workbook 1 we'll use during the first semester, and then shortly after we get back from Christmas break, we'll be into book 2. The students do need to bring their workbook every single class day because this workbook is the basis of instruction. I teach from the workbook. We do the problems in the workbook. And basically, your homework is going to consist of just finishing up whatever we don't get done in class. I'm going to teach a concept. I'll go through all the questions related to that concept, and then we'll go back and do some other things as well. But whatever we don't get done, you'll just follow up with at home. Please do not allow your student to work ahead. There's nothing more frustrating than having bored students because they're like, I already did that. Well, no. And again, Mrs. Kent does not do DIY math. So I'm going to introduce it and then you follow it up at home, finishing up what we did in class. Okay. Also, I will say that if your student doesn't finish up every question, in a particular lesson, it's not the end of the world. We have amazing breaks, and that break time is a great time for the students to kind of go back and finish whatever they may have left undone. It's great review, especially in the winter when we have that long Christmas break, to go back and just finish up whatever was left undone. It's a great opportunity to just continue to strengthen and keep their math brains working over that really long break. Okay. As far as the teacher's guide, it's totally up to you. In my mind, you don't need it. I mean, if you want to get it, great, but I personally don't think that you need it. But again, that's a decision for you to decide if you want to go ahead and do that. If you do get the teacher's guide, I really recommend you get it used. Please. Um, and then also in this class, I am grading the test. Why is that, Mrs. Kent? Well, for a couple of reasons. Number one, I do give partial credit. And sometimes parents don't give partial credit. But when they do get partial credit from Mrs. Kent, it's like a really good thing. Also, there's some some things that are in the test that I will actually use for extra credit. So for example, I know we take a minute or two and look at Roman numerals like very briefly, and it shows up in a test. But who uses Roman numerals? Okay, Super Bowl, right? And Star Wars, which I love, by the way. But that's about it. So I teach it to them. They learn it a little bit, but I'm not really interested in grading them necessarily on that. So I'll use that for extra credit, for example. Okay. Um, that's just one example of where I'll have something that's on a test that I'm not going to include in the overall grade of the test. That's going to be something that's going to be given for extra credits. So again, that's why I typically will grade. Okay, let's keep on moving. The class expectations. We're going to complete most of the book. Those of you that are in fifth grade math, you already know that you're not going to get all 180 lessons. You'll probably get to 150, maybe 160. The truth of the matter is with Horizons, the last 20 lessons or so are all review. Okay, so we'll get through most of the book, but not all of it. Do please come prepared to work with a workbook and pencils and a great attitude. I don't take breaks. Mrs. Kent's from New York, if you haven't guessed it already. And so when we get in class, we are rocking and rolling. So prepare accordingly. If you need to go to the bathroom before my class starts, do that, please. Also, the students are going to learn how to keep a formula notebook. Mrs. Bracy and I talked. She uses it for seventh grade and she uses it for advanced math. And whereas I used to use the spiral, those of you who have siblings that have had me before, older siblings, you know that I was a fan of the spiral bound 3x5 cards. Well, now I'm changing that to use a formula notebook because that really helps you when you move on to Mrs. Bracy for seventh grade, and especially after you come back, you boomerang back to me for pre-algebra and algebra 1, and then you go to Mrs. Copper algebra 2, and then after that for advanced math. So like the end of your math journey is with Mrs. Bracy. So we want to get you ready and get into the habit of using these formula notebooks. And I'm gonna give one to you at the beginning of the year. So you need to worry about that. That's part of that materials fee. And we're going to be developing that over the course of the year. All right. I already mentioned not worrying about if you don't finish every lesson. But that being said, please make sure that you are following up every day and doing the homework. Because what should not happen is that if I'm walking around and I kind of peek in the book, I should not see a bunch of empty pages. If I do see a bunch of empty pages, that's a huge red flag for me in terms of, is this program even really working for you? Is your student going to be adequately prepared for the next level? So, homework is important. You got to just, reinforce time in the material. Okay. Next, submitting work in Google Classroom. That's how this class is administered. So whenever you finish a test, or if I give a worksheet, rare, but that's going to be submitted into Google Classroom as a single PDF, not a JPEG. It's going to be a single PDF, not 3 PDFs. I'll send it back to you and say, give it back to me as a single PDF, or as a Google document. The good news is I've created a video. I got a video for everything, but there's a video in Google Classroom. One video shows you how to submit your work as a PDF, as a single PDF from start to finish. Another one shows you how to submit your work as a Google document from start to finish. So there's really no reason why, and at 6th grade, usually your students are probably doing it themselves, that they're doing that also. I just have to say this, please. When you submit it, can you make sure that it is legible? Because if it's not legible and I can't read it, it's going right back to you. Because I need to be able to, and Mrs. Kent's eyes need to be preserved, please. So please make sure it's legible, make sure it's a single PDF or a Google document. By the way, not a link to a Google document, but the actual Google document. There's a way to do that. I show you how to do that in Google Classroom. I've got a video on that. All right, as parents, I do need you to check your Google Classroom periodically. Please make sure you sign up for those guardian summaries so that you know if something's missing. Listen, we only have a couple of tests per quarter. It shouldn't be that difficult to make sure that you get them in on time, but make sure you get them in on time. All right. Please pay attention to progress reports. Progress reports do matter to us because, again, they let us know, is this program working or is it not working? Is your student going to be prepared for the next level or not? So there you go. And then also, if for whatever reason we're not able to meet on campus, maybe let's say Mount Oak has a funeral that they're hosting, or there's inclement weather and we just can't get into the building, then we're going to meet via Zoom. Every once in a while, I may just do a video instead, but for the most part, especially at this level, I really like to have the interaction with the kids, make sure that they fully understand what's going on. I can really gauge that. So we will, 9 times out of 10, we're going to meet via Zoom, and the link will be in Google Classroom. Finally, this is a class. I know it's math, but you know what? We can have so much fun. I'm going to teach my goofy jingles. I know, cue the eye roll, but that's okay. But that's part of what makes it fun. And my goal really is to make math accessible. They're going to learn a lot. And there are things I'm going to teach them that hopefully will stick with them in their old age because it's done in a song format or a jingle format. So anyway, there you go. The best prep for this class for 6th grade math is to review your basic math facts. Review addition and subtraction, the multiplication and division. If you're not solid on the multiplication facts, listen, do what I've done with my kids. Even in odd days over the summer, the even days we do 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. The odd days we do 7, 8, 9. 10 is always easy. 11 and 12. Writing them out. Okay. And if you skip a day, no big deal because you got all summer. You skip a day, you miss a day, you just catch it up on the next even or odd day. So there you go. I will also say another good review for this class, especially if you're with us right now and your students in 5th grade math and they're in that Horizons 5 student book 2, you're not going to finish that whole book. We don't have enough days to do that. But what I would always recommend doing is that over the summer, you've got all those unfinished lessons. Go back and do them. It doesn't have to be a whole 5. No, just a couple of minutes a day, 5, 10 minutes a day. Go back, finish all the lessons from Horizons 5. Do that little test at the end. I think it's probably test 15 or 16. If you haven't done test 16, do test 16. And that's a really fabulous prep because, again, as I said, those last 20 lessons or so, it's nothing but review. It's a great way to get ready for 6th grade math, okay? Also, after the June payment, I'm going to send out a 6th grade assessment that I'm going to ask you to give to your student. The beauty in that is that it'll help you see what are the areas that they probably still need to work on in advance of our first meeting in September. So you'll have a little bit of home. You'll know what you need to do. If you need to work on the addition of subtraction factor, you'll be working on that. If you need to work on multiplication, you'll be working on that. Okay. And then finally, great prep for this class is have fun over the summer. We work hard as homeschoolers, so we need to play hard, even though in the summertime. So just have a great summer. Get ready. Do the fun little, make going over those math facts fun for yourself over the summer. And that's that. All right. Last but not least, communication. For me, the best and quickest way to reach me is to text me. I can tell you that, especially on Tuesday and Thursday mornings, I'm up at 5:30 in the morning. I'm getting me out the door. I'm getting my kids out the door because we're trying to get to Mount Oak by 7:30 so we can start opening up doors and getting ready for folks. Okay. So if you're trying to send me an email on a Tuesday, Thursday morning, I am not going to get it. Even a text on Tuesday, Thursday morning is a little dicey for me. But texting, no matter what, is the fastest way to reach me. Usually, if you're going to send me an email, it's gonna be it's gonna be really late at night. Those of you who've known me for a while know you've seen the timestamps on some of those emails. Whatever. Anyway, I don't check my email until really, really late. So that's not a great way to reach me quickly. And then I also do set aside Mondays and Fridays for really handling bigger things. Like if you got something that's in depth, Mrs. Kent, can you, whatever, it's going to be a Monday or a Friday when I'm really going to respond to that. Because I'm a homeschooler too. I'm doing the same thing as you guys. I got 2 kids in the program. So anyway, for this class, we might have a group me. If so, I'm going to have the in-parent class assistant manage that because I'll be teaching and the in-class parent assistant can take pictures and post it to the group me. So anyway, so that's an if. I'm still kind of on the fence with that, but we'll figure it out. All right. So that's it. Again, if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me, text me, email me, and I'll get back to you. But I hope you've enjoyed this. And if you have any questions, just give me a call or send me an email. And I hope to see you in September in 6th grade math. Thanks so much for watching.